Remember when you used to play around with a typical paper plane? Well, the company that I'm about to introduce turned this standard toy into an incredible remote control flying machine. Welcome to PowerUP Toys, and welcome to one more episode of Builder Nation. For today's interview, we have Shai Goitein, founder and CEO of this company that is combining the art of paper plane crafting with smart technology. So welcome, Shai. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for being at Builder Nation.
Hi, everybody. Yeah, thank you so much for inviting me, and let's roll.
I was looking through the website and through LinkedIn, and there was this phrase that caught up my attention that said you are realizing a childhood dream in your own company now.
I think for me, what I'm doing today is really a realization of my passion for a few things, for flight and also for invention and creation. And it's been a privilege really to be able to work and develop and actually make a living from childhood dreams. I started building airplanes from the age of 6 or something, and later rockets, and later at the age of 14, hang gliding, paragliding. Later in life became actual pilot of airplanes. But my actual profession was industrial design. And after 10 years of experience in industrial design and work, this idea came to me. And it was interesting because it actually came as part of a volunteering process in the evenings, teaching underprivileged teenagers STEM lessons. And actually, through the process of preparing the lessons and the research, I learned about the technologies around there. Back then, if you remember 12 years ago, I think the smartphone just started. So the whole idea of lithium batteries and microcontrollers and micromotors, all this was kind of new. And that pretty much kicked this idea initially and turned into a first generation, second, third, and now we're in the 6th generation already in our company.
Yeah, I did see that in the website, and I think it's impressive and it's amazing how you guys have changed over the years. At the end of the day, you have to adapt to the industry. So what would you say it has been maybe the biggest challenge there?
Oh, there are many challenges. There's always a huge mess up in every product launch. So actually, this is our current product, the smartphone paper airplane. It's called PowerUp 4. So you make a paper airplane and you slide the technology. And this also has sensors on it, and you can use your mobile phone to fly it. I kind of skipped your question. I'm just showing it because I'm sure the audiences will be happy to see. So this module you can also fly balsa wood planes. You can fly literally almost anything, cardboard airplanes, anything you can build and just attach the technology and fly it and control it. And now going back to talking about challenges. So this is the 6th generation that we launched. And over the years, we had many different versions from a free flight. That was the 1st generation, actually, just adding a propulsion system, then a smartphone controlled using Bluetooth, BLE, and then we used Wi-Fi. We added a camera. And I think every product launch had like a huge mess up. And that's kind of like a normal process. And I think you have to acknowledge that the shit will hit the fan somewhere. I remember in the first product that we launched, all the propellers broke. We didn't use the right material. The second product, the switch, we didn't use the right quality of the manufacturer. But you learn during the cycle that this is a natural step. You make a quick fix, a quick iteration, and move on. And this actually makes the product better time over time. And this is with regards to product development. Regards to general challenges in the last few years, due to COVID, everybody had challenges of manufacturing, cost of shipping, electronic components are going up. And one thing I can share, I think, for every maker out there that takes their dream and wants to commercialize it, is that it's really important to keep dreaming every day. So you always have a reason to wake up in the morning and to make something that excites you. And it's always a challenge. You need to reinvent yourself all the time.
That's a great piece of advice. Thank you so much for sharing, Shai. And I think it's really interesting to ask about the pandemic, because you have been around for 12 years and you survived the pandemic. You have survived a lot of things in these 12 years. So you talk about supply chain. How do you solve this problem?
That's a really good question. My advice is to build really strong relationships with your manufacturers and whoever you work with in supply chains. Prior to the pandemic, we had already at least 6 years a very close relationship with manufacturer in China and Hong Kong. And our last product, which we launched through Kickstarter, the PowerUP 4, it was entirely done virtually. We didn't go one time to the factory. I trusted them. Everything was like clockwork. And so if you have partners that you can trust, then you can make anything.
The fact that you found them and that you build up this relationship, that was a great benefit.
It's a very strong relationship. When the pandemic started, the first place in the world that was hit was Hong Kong and China. And they actually didn't have face masks because they ran out. So I actually shipped to them a face mask. And the relationship was that strong that we actually helped them. And later they shipped us. It was kind of funny.
I'm curious to ask about the early days of PowerUP Toys and about the funding rounds and all of that, how to get investors. How was that experience like for you?
I think we were kind of a unique animal because we really built grassroots, ground up. The company was founded without investors, actually. It was all self-investment, very gradual. It started as kind of a weekend project when I had my day job. And we had instant success, and that really helped us create a product that had amazing revenue also. Just to give you an idea, the first generation, it was called PowerUP 1. I didn't have a clue. I just went into Alibaba, sent my design to like 10 different companies. One looked at me like they're pretty good. I just sent them the files, and like 45 days later, I received prototypes. And it was really cheap back then. I think the first tools cost around $3,000, and the first production cost $10,000. This was for 3,000 units. I said, let's do it. We'll see what happens.
Wow, you took the risk.
I actually went on a plane first time to China. I didn't have an idea where I'm going. I met this lady in the airport. She took me to the factories just to see where things are made. And this production run was sent directly to Amazon. This was in 2012. It was on Amazon. We couldn't sell even one unit. We didn't know how to sell on Amazon. And I was lucky because I sent this idea to like 100 different outlets, and one picked it up and put it on a major magazine. Back then it was Gizmag, Australia. And it went super viral. It was crazy. We were like 10,000 views a day on YouTube. And so that kicked in. The same year, the product was on Jay Leno during primetime Christmas, mentioned as one of the best 15 toys for the year. So I was lucky, and all the inventory was finished before Christmas, and we were just producing constantly. So in terms of funding, this gave us the backing. But afterwards, we did the first Kickstarter. That was actually our first major funding. This was for a more advanced technology for mobile device, which requires investments of hundreds of thousands of dollars. And the Kickstarter was also explosive. It became the 7th most funded project in the world. I think still #1 on flight category. And so that helped us fund that project. And we were lucky to have amazing partners in terms of the development, the electronics and the mobile programming and everything to make a good, mature product to kick off the company.
Great story. Thank you so much for sharing. And talking about the next steps for the company, what will you say they are?
So the first and second generations started as a project that I made for myself to play with, actually. And it was too good to keep to myself. And I said, I got to share it with the world. And over time, we learned a lot of things. We talked to our customers and got feedback and reviews. So each generation kind of is improving on the previous one in terms of ease of flight and making it more diversified and modular. So the last generation can fly almost anything. We also flew a piece of lettuce just to show the technology. And another thing that we learned is that a lot of schools and teachers are using it. First of all, it's not just a toy. We have kids playing with it age 8 to 88. So I think in terms of our investment for the next years, the focus is more about building the community and using technology to build the community. What we see, for example, is people are just making a lot of really interesting models and designs. And so we really want to make the designs that people are making accessible to everybody. We want to really use the app as a tool to encourage sharing, contests, improving, learning the principles of flight, using it as a learning tool, exploration tool. That's the main focus.
And last but not least, Shai, do you have any advice to future entrepreneurs or people starting on this path?
Yeah, I think I have a lot of things I can say, but maybe one advice that I think is unique to how I work is that many times we come up with a lot of ideas and we start designing, investing money and blah, 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 doing all these things. And the way I work that I think is really good advice is to test frequently. And if I have an idea, before I start investing too much time, too much design, I'll try to build a very quick prototype, really like ad hoc, just to see the experience, to see if it does what I think it should do. And if it has that magical sauce that we're looking for when you're inventing something. Just iterate frequently and explore frequently. Do a lot of prototypes. And also another thing to understand is that you talked about luck, right? I think I was lucky and sometimes you need luck, but also a successful product is usually something that meshes a special magic. It's a special ecosystem of many things that together make a product successful. And I think with PowerUp, for example, the success came because it was a very simple, low cost, and attractive idea. So people got it. You don't need to explain it. You just show it and people get it, right? You see it, you understand. And those are the ideas that are also later easier to commercialize and to sell, etc.
Thank you so much for sharing. Great piece of advice once again. Well, that was all. Thank you so much, Shai, for being here, for sharing your experiences. Do you have any social media handles? Where can people find you or PowerUP Toys?
We have, of course, our website, PowerUpToys.com. I really encourage you to join our Facebook group called Power Up Your Fun. There's a lot of things happening there. We're also constantly launching a contest and you get also free kits, etc. when you participate. If you want to purchase a kit, you can find us on Amazon anywhere.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And remember, guys, that you can also find more information, interesting articles, interesting interviews, just like this one with Shai, directly on our website, ControlHub.com/builder-nation. We would love to hear from you. Once again, Shai, thank you so much for taking the time and for being here at the podcast today.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.